I'd like to welcome everybody to Homecoming 2015. Great to come off a scintillating win in North Dakota against a football team that had taught itself how to win and be productive, especially on defense. Their defense entered the contest at 302 a game and left the contest surrendering 37 points. So I'm pretty proud of what we were able to accomplish offensively, although it came a little late. We had a little drama to it by not playing well offensively early. Missed some passes, some wide open receivers early, especially like the second play of the game when we drop a little shovel pass and all of a sudden we're out of sorts offensively. But the cool part about it was we found ourselves, especially on defense in the second half, and we were able to get some stops. Two guys I want to highlight who played exceptionally well down the stretch. John Raheem Peoples out of Rigby played outstanding, made a couple of great stops, and of course he had the big stop on their quarterback that was his last play of the game. And then to come deep off the bench again, like Ja'Cory Ford did, in relief of Xavier Finney at running back, and score not only a touchdown early, but a touchdown late on a screen pass. Just shows, the width and depth of a good football team is never calculable, especially on the road. It gave us our first win against a ranked opponent on the road for quite some time. Gave us an opportunity to beat a team in the Big Sky Conference on the road that had a winning record first time in quite some time. So we're teaching ourselves how to win. We're teaching ourselves how to play better. The three freshmen on defense really gave us a spark, especially Rashid at defensive end. Rashid Williams, a freshman out of Mater Dei High School in Los Angeles, played pretty well throughout the day. Joe Martin in relief of C.J. Langlow at outside linebacker did a nice job helping thwart their wide run, especially late in the ball game. And then, of course, Anthony Ricks, a cornerback out of Valley Center, California, came in and played well. We'll see more and more of our freshman roster on defense as weeks go by.
Mike, on the screen pass call for the touchdown that won the game for you, perfect call. I mean, they sent two guys. That side was wide open. What did you or the assistant coaches see that make you want to call that play?
We were in such a good rhythm offensively. We knew that they were trying to key up their rush and get their rush going with their blitzes. North Dakota is a team that the closer you get to the goal line, the more they don't like it, the more they blitz. And screens are the recipe against blitz.
And like I say, perfect call at the right time.
And we did a nice job in that clipping. Thomas Vazorka again was out in front of the play just like he was last week against Cal Poly when he threw a clip, which we were able to overcome with a touchdown. But we're doing a better job in the open field with our offensive line and all of our screens. And I think our screen execution this season has just been outstanding. We've completed 97% of the screen passes we've called all season long. So when we get to what should we call period phase in the game, well, call screen. It usually works.
What does it say about your team's mental toughness that you guys are able to come from behind?
Well, I think the focus is on how we focus. The fact would be that we've decided that the 2015 season can be no further than one play at a time as a coaching staff. And we see ourselves not able to make game-like adjustments, scheme-like sequence-like adjustments, but we can make one-play adjustments. And so this team, this coaching staff is focused on having the team make a one-play adjustment and then fight the next play as it comes up.
How important was it to get that?
Well, obviously that goes without saying. To be able to beat a ranked opponent on homecoming on their field bolsters all of us. The one thing we felt like in Cal Poly is we'd finally started to get off the deck offensively, especially at quarterback. And that carried over into the North Dakota game with a little bit of a dry stretch at the start of the game. And defensively, not having to play option was good for us. To get sparked by those young freshman players makes every guy on our roster feel like he has a chance to go in the game and have a determining factor.
Yeah, talk about Michael Sanders and his play this past week.
Well, Mike's play was good. Wasn't great, especially early, and he played better He played better in the second half once he got into a flow of it. The one thing that you can always tell about Michael, and you don't need me to tell you, is that when he's releasing the ball before the receiver has snapped his head, then he's playing quarterback. He's not just throwing. We call it confirming the throw. When the quarterback has to stare down the receiver and then confirm that he's open, that's not playing quarterback. That's playing some other position. But when you throw the ball as a quarterback well before the receiver has made his final cut, his final break, and has not snapped his head, then you're playing the position, and Michael's playing the position right now.
Mike, I don't know if momentum is a tangible thing or not on the sidelines, but was there a minute or a play or something in that game Saturday where you just felt something change? Because you were down, I think it was 33 to 15, 30 to 16, something like that. and then all of a sudden it was a different team out there.
God, I'd love to give you a great long coaching answer that would sound really good, but the answer to that is simply no. At no point. We looked at each play as its own individual item. Seriously, Mark, we didn't know. In fact, when we went ahead 15-14, I looked up the scoreboard and went, man, how did we get 15 points? Because when you never look at the scoreboard, we keep our eyes off the scoreboard. We're just running our offense and running our defense without regard to what the other team's doing or what the situation is. Period. The only time we really started to kind of play the game was after we forced a punt, and then we had the ball. And then, of course, what did we do in the first play? Threw a dang pass, incomplete, and gave him a free first down at the 4-minute mark. What a bonehead call by our head coach. Jeez, that was a bonehead call. My gosh. What in the world are you doing? That's how you lose games. I mean, that was a bad bonehead call, and Jacory got me off the hook by running for a first down the next play. And then offensively, we kept our nose to the grindstone. We couldn't get the first down. I had to punt it and gave them an opportunity. And then we cut them loose. We cut a receiver loose down on a seam pass. That cannot happen. So 2 bonehead coaching calls, one by me and one by Spencer, that gave North Dakota an opportunity to win the game. So things we have to overcome just from the head shop.
You mentioned the screen game. How has Sheldon Cross or even you calling plays as well? How have you guys evolved?
I just think we've been a really good screen team since we came in 2011. We just continue to develop confidence in where the ball needs to be placed and how we need to stratify our offensive linemen. It's not really a one-coach deal. It's been a whole offensive staff philosophy since we came here in 11, and we're just not perfecting it. We're just running it up to its standard.
With Coach Bailey, he called all the offensive plays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he was.
No, not all of them.
What? That's true. Yeah, sure. But how has your role in the offense changed with Coach Sheldon Cross?
Not much. Sheldon still, as the offensive coordinator, is ultimately responsible for the end-on product. Coaching the quarterbacks is probably more important than being the offensive coordinator. Anybody can call plays. I mean, anybody can play Xbox and anybody can play PlayStation. It's not calling plays that wins games. It's what you teach your quarterback and how he distributes the ball and how he throws it accurately. And that's where Sheldon's value is really probably at its peak right now. He has taken a quarterback that took no reps in the spring and brought him to a point where he's one of the best players in our conference, maybe in the United States at his position. That's way more important than what we call and how we call it, because you can call any play, and it'll all work if the quarterback knows what he's doing.
Mike, it was a wild game. It was a wild week Saturday in the Big Sky, but that Cal Poly Eastern game, pretty amazing. What did you take out of that game from having watched the tape about Eastern at this point in time?
Just once I'd like to play Cal Poly when their quarterback is hurt. Just once. Everybody that plays Cal Poly after we play him gets the benefit of playing against Chris Brown when he's hobbled. And he was definitively hobbled in that ball game, especially in the fourth quarter, as was Prothro, their running back. On the last sequence and in overtime, you see both of those guys trying to will themselves to a win. And it's not surprising that Tim went for it for 2 on his first overtime touchdown, because those guys were as far out of gas as they could go. In fact, Chris on the last play just took a couple wobbly steps and pitched the ball and gave Eastern an opportunity to win the game in overtime. So outstanding job